Hello, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. We're reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. Very much glad to have you join us. Work resumes after the two-day Eid al-Fitr public holiday. Business activities across Abuja metropolis is not picking up as expected. Musa Abubakar tells us how.
From all areas of the territory, the workers converged on the Federal Secretariat to continue to contribute their quota to national development. Khadija Bajo Gagambo is one of the early comers.
The Ramadan period helps you to be a better version of yourself. So we hope that we can implement these qualities that we have imbibed in the Ramadan season or in everything we do in life, especially in the workplace. And obviously during the Ramadan we prayed for the country, so we do hope Allah accepts our prayers and Nigeria moves forward from henceforth.
Solomon Chima says he could not wait for the holiday to end.
Before even the expiration of the holidays, I was already exhausted and already got to go to work.
I have so many schedules to at least to complete. Particularly today, I have about 5 assignments I have to see through today. So, you know, as a serious person who is responsible, I have to be up and doing.
And no, there's nothing. All day is over. Work starts. So there's something you can do. You have to research the civil servant.
The holiday ended the one-month Ramadan fast by Muslim faithful across the globe. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Sorry about the mix-up there. That was Adebola Brooklyn Sunday at the Federal Secretariat as he reported on how most of the workers resumed early to their duty post. And now let's go to the earlier report in which we told you that as work resumes after the two-day Eid al-Fitr public holiday, business activities across Abuja metropolis is not picking up as expected. Musa Abubakar tells us how.
After witnessing high patronage before and during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, markets and business centers are now experiencing low patronage.
The market was not too busy. People did not enter as they used to enter. So our own thinking is just that maybe some people travel to go and meet their families for the salars. We believe that people are coming because since morning we have been seeing them.
There was no customer. We're expecting to see them.
Now everybody is coming back to the market now to start at fresh.
After the salah, we are expecting maybe some big growth.
For those in the food business, they look beyond Ramadan with the expectation of getting more patronage during the daytime.
We're fasting day, no market, but now we thank God. We expect things to move, at least. Let there be food, money.
The two-day public holiday was an opportunity for workers to rest as well as celebrate Salah with their loved ones. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
To other news now, there are calls for collective resolve to build a new Nigeria anchored on unity and progress for the overall growth of the nation. Talato Ezerike reports that this was a fallout of discussion on NTA's current affairs program, Tuesday Live.
Nigerians' founding fathers sacrificed their all in building an indivisible, united and prosperous nation. They strongly believe that unity, tolerance and understanding among the various ethnic groups is vital to the socio-economic development of the country.
Inclusiveness should be embraced. Diversity should be also embraced.
The cherished values many agreed were bastardized over the years, giving way to mistrust, suspicion, agitation, hate, speeches and many more. Interestingly, there are loud voices advocating a new Nigeria based on trust, love for one another, and love for the country.
Our founding fathers laid some great foundation which we have distanced ourselves from. The time is now to emphasize on our strength, build on our strength, and diminish our weaknesses.
We are putting monetary value to cultural style of leadership. There are even some people that you will give responsibilities, national responsibilities, will be rejecting because it's not a juicy appointment.
When Nigerians start being religious, it will conquer ethnic bigotry. So when truly religious people emerge in this country, all that we're talking about corruption will be, a thing of the past.
For others, the need for sincerity of purpose in building a new Nigeria.
There's no honesty. People in those days were Nigerians who were building Nigeria for the Nigerians to come after them. But nowadays, me, myself, and I, and nobody.
We can take a look at ourselves and say, wait a minute, if India is as populated as India is and China, how come they are surviving and they have multiple heterogeneous systems like we too have in Nigeria? But we must first acknowledge that these issues must be discussed dispassionately and objectively without sentiments and emotions.
An aspect of Nigerian national pledge says to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity. These, analysts say, can be achieved through right actions that promote unity, love, and respect for one another. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has again assured Nigerians that the Buhari administration is not deaf to grievances in parts of the country, saying that the government will address them, while urging that such grievances be expressed with grace. In response to the recent spate of agitations pitching some groups in the north against others in the southeast, the acting president had a series of engagements and consultations with political, religious, traditional and media leaders from across the country. A statement by the senior special assistant to the acting president, Laolu Akonde, says the meetings were convened to provide a platform for frank and open discussions between the concerned stakeholders on issues relating to the unity, peace and security of the country. The meetings condemned, all the hateful and divisive rhetoric and affirmed the supremacy of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which guarantees freedom of residence and of movement of all Nigerians anywhere in the country without fear of discrimination or prejudice. An elder statesman insisted One Nigeria project. We now join our Lagos Network Center, where Demola is standing by for the report and other stories from the Center of Excellence. Demola.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. Having competent, vision-driven and committed heads of parastatals is key to optimal performance of the Nigerian workforce. This was a submission of panelists at the 38 Centers for Values in Leadership Colloquium in Lagos. Annie Daniels reports that it is in honor of Chamberlain Oyibo and Nathaniel Okoro, former heads of government parastatals.
The colloquium with the theme "Has Nigerian parastatals delivered on their promise?" had heads of government parastatals as panelists. They disclosed that though parastatals were set up by the government to help drive the economy and nation, issues such as bureaucratic bottlenecks, duplication and ineffective leadership have hampered them from effectively contributing to wealth creation and economic growth.
There's no need one ministry repeating one thing or the other. If environment is common to all, environment should handle for all.
This colloquium is therefore designed to help with a roadmap for optimizing on the contribution of parastatals and how to keep their numbers to a level that is optimal.
this is something that the federal government needs to look at to determine the usefulness of the number of parastatals and the functionality. What matters is to deliver on the mandate. If we believe that a lesser number of parastatals will provide a leaner government, a more efficient government, and will reduce cost of governance, that is what the federal government should look at doing.
The honorees, Chamberlain Oyibo, 76 years, is a petroleum geologist and consultant in the oil and gas sector, while Nathaniel Okoro, 86 years, retired from the Nigerian Railway Corporation. They are both honored for their contributory roles in driving the nation's economy.
We don't go for title, we just did our work, so I feel very honored.
You must be grounded professionally in the business in which you find yourself.
Center for Values in Leadership is a non-profit making organization set up to equip generations of young people with values and leadership skills. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
The unity and continued existence of Nigeria as a sovereign state cannot be compromised, even in the face of increased agitation from some parts of the country for a divided nation. This declaration was made by elder statesmen and professionals at a press conference in Lagos. Amechi Pius has the detail.
For quite some time now, Nigerians have had to contend with hate speeches, quick notices, and calls for secession from the different sections of the country. This has no doubt continued to generate reactions from government, some civil society groups, and religious bodies. These elders under the platform known as Yegba is the latest voice insisting on one Nigeria built on the principles of fairness, equity, and justice.
Before this thing gets out of control, we should come together once again and identify why we are together. We're together because we know that this is what God created, this is where we ought to be.
And anyone beginning to suggest that we should go back to 1966 must be totally out of their minds.
The objective of the Yegba platform, its founders say, is to create a foundation that provides everyone the opportunity to contribute to building a better and safer Nigeria for all.
In the process of bringing this country together, it's a long process. Many will understand, many will misunderstand. It's our duty to continue to educate those who don't understand it, to understand that we are one.
We're exploring ways of finding the new foundation for a new Nigeria, which the young people can be proud of.
Now we are here to stabilize Nigeria and achieve God's intention for this country.
Its approach to resolving issues, they added, is devoid of violence and under negative tendencies, capable of destroying the unity and peace of the nation. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
The process of nominating candidates by the All Progressive Congress, APC, for the forthcoming local government elections in Lagos State is generating disagreement amongst party leaders in some local government areas. One of such local government area is Surulere, where aggrieved aspirants and party members are protesting what they termed as imposition of candidates by some leaders of the party. Deji Dowu has the details.
It was meant to be a fence-mending meeting between the executives of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Surulere local government, with some aspirants and party leaders over the nomination of candidates for the forthcoming local government election in Lagos State. The meeting, being held behind closed doors, was however interrupted by placard-carrying protesting party members who accused the local government executives of the party for hobnobbing with the dominant leader of the party in the local government to impose candidates contrary to the directives of the party leadership in the state.
We want the other leaders to know what we are fighting for. We want them to know what we are fighting for. We are fighting for our right.
They also accused the leaders of marginalizing party members from other wards within the local government in favor of members from two particular wards, G and G1, a development they claimed has been sustained for over 15 years. The protest affected normal activities along Adelabu Street, where the APC local government secretariat is located, as members of the public took precaution to avoid any mishap. Efforts to speak with the chairman of the party in Surulere local government was unsuccessful. He said he had instructions from above not to speak with the media on the issue. The message of the protesters was, however, fairly clear. They want democracy to thrive at the grassroots level within the party instead of imposition of candidates, which they claimed has denied them dividends of democracy over the years. In Lagos, Dichido, NT News.
Well, that's our contribution from Lagos. Is back to you, Joseph, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Damala from our Lagos Network Center there. Enhancing security network through robust synergy among countries en route Europe and other developed countries will help check the recurring dilemma of irregular migration from Nigeria. This formed part of the submissions of guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, as a panacea to drastically checkmate the menace, which is a threat not only to the victims of traffickers, but also to security of the country. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Because we have lost a lot of people, we have lost a lot of resources, people died in my presence, and I almost died. It's a journey that nobody will advise his or her enemy to embark on.
Osita Osemene, a victim of illegal migration, narrates his ordeal and how he found his home soil Nigeria a greener pasture, contrary to his orientation. Osemene, like other discussants on the program, described the practice as inhuman, which should not be seen as a means of survival.
Most of the returnees that come back, most of the victims that come back end up becoming traffickers, and they are more in number.
Some parents even pressure their children to embark on this journey. There is free food in Nigeria, I tell you, but there is no free food in any other place in this world.
Former Nigerian ambassador to Libya, M.K. Ibrahim, says the business of illegal migration still persists because of the existing strong network among the human traffickers. He advocated that those Nigerians repatriated be quarantined to ascertain their health status.
There was a time that 1,004 were repatriated from Libya, and we got all the medical reports, and believe me, more than half of them have HIV or other very serious, communicable diseases. And we must go after these, the agents, who facilitate the trafficking.
Constituting a majority in migration issues, other guests suggest a stronger legislative action, increase awareness, as well as encourage joint task force among African countries serving as exit routes as a way out.
But what will also help us is getting information from as many people as possible. A lot of people see and know what is going on, but they don't talk.
Because people believe in what they see, and people believe in what they hear. So some of these things can be put in place at the border. Educate some of those officers properly, because some officers don't even know what crossing the Mediterranean Sea is.
When accountability and good governance will rule this country, things will change.
The fight against illegal migration, they agreed, should be the collective responsibility of all, believing that government has a critical role to play to enable Nigerians maximize the country's rich natural potentials. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Plateau State House of Assembly decries state of the specialist hospital. For details of these and other reports, let's join Caleb in our Jos Network Center. Hello, Caleb.
Hello, welcome to Jos. After 2 days public holiday declared by the federal government to mark the Eid al-Fitr celebration, civil servants at both the federal and state levels have resumed with renewed zeal. Ashezi Gopep reports that the head of civil service, Itang Izang Azi, paid an unscheduled visit to offices at the state secretariat.
While some workers were at their duty posts, others were seen within the office premises in clusters, probably discussing the long break, while some offices were on the log. Head of service, who paid an unscheduled visit to see the turnout of workers for himself after the long break, expressed satisfaction with the commitment of workers, saying that disciplinary measures will be taken on those absent from work, describing it as an act of misconduct.
Henceforth, we'll continue to undertake periodic checks And I also want to say that the accounting officers in the various MDAs should also ensure that they carry out periodic checks on their staff.
Some of the civil servants who spoke to us said they have resumed with renewed commitment to carry out their duties.
We can improve by coming very early and perform our work.
We intend to be a better civil servant because we have to abide by the rule and regulation of the government.
So I'm energized. I've had 4 days of rest and I'm actually looking forward to the challenge ahead.
I intend to deliver my work successfully, and I promise to maintain my office and rules and regulation of the service.
In the meantime, a drive round Amadou Bello Way reveals that business activities have fully picked up in the commercial knife center of the state, with banks and commercial centers fully in operation. In Jos, Ashezigopep, NTA News.
Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State has urged Muslims to live by lessons and teachings of the Holy Book that guarantee the corporate and peaceful coexistence of the state and nation in general. He said this when the Muslim community in the state paid him a visit at the Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Jonathan Danjuma sent in the details. The governor, represented by his deputy, Professor Sonny Turden, noted that the visit by the Muslim community is a testament of the peaceful coexistence and interreligious harmony in the state. Governor Lalong felicitated with the Nigerian Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, councils of ulamas, the JNI, and Muslims as a whole. He further called on Christians and Muslims to work towards preserving the unity of Nigeria, as the nation's diversity and pluralism are its cherished heritage and strength, even as government is committed to providing good leadership.
As Christians and Muslims, we have the spiritual and patriotic duty of doing all that is necessary to preserve the unity of our nation by rebuking agents of disunity and openly dissociating ourselves from any sectional, ethnic, or myopic religious calls that give vent to the secessionist opportunism of those who are alien to the labors of our heroes past.
Leader of the delegation and Emir of Wase, Dr. Muhammad Sambo Haruna, while commending the Lalong administration's developmental strides, appealed to the governor to create vocational centers, especially at the rural areas where youths can learn skills for self-reliance. The visit witnessed prayers for the quick recovery of President Muhammadu Buhari, peace, unity, and progress of Nigeria. The Plateau State House Committee on Health has decried the deplorable state of infrastructure at the Plateau Specialist Hospital, Jos. The committee, during oversight function of health institutions in the state, says pragmatic efforts must be made to restore the hospital. Ijeoma Ozomina has more.
On tour of the hospital, the team saw the poor sanitary condition of the hospital, 6 non-functional washing machines, and poor ventilation in almost all the critical units of the hospital. They blamed this development to nonchalant attitude on the part of the hospital's management. Member of the committee, Mr. Afon, said a state of emergency should be declared in the hospital, taking into cognizance its hazardous state. Chairman of the committee, Simon Kudu Ahile, noted that the hospital needs urgent attention and instructed that the unclaimed corpses in the mortuary be disposed immediately.
Issues of bedding. I've seen them went to the laundry. First of all, the laundry, all the machines are spoiled except 2 or 1 that is working. That is not enough.
Chief Medical Director of the Specialist Hospital, Dr. Philemon Golwa, while responding to issues raised by members of the committee, affirmed that the organization will do its best to ensure the actualization of its aims and objectives.
70% of the drugs that are consumed in this hospital are by the NHIS. We've kept a different department for them, different doctors, everything different. So we have no reason to even say patients complain about that.
The Plateau Specialist Hospital Jos was established in 1933 to produce specialized medical services, train health professionals, and also serve as a research center in Jos. Ijoma Ozemina, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Joseph, it's back to you.
Caleb, thank you very much indeed. A top investigator with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Austin Okoh, has been shot. A statement by the EFCC head of media and publicity says Okoh, an operative in the property fraud section of the EFCC zonal office in Port Harcourt, was attacked by gunmen after closing late from work last Saturday and shot at several times, leaving him with bullet wounds. The statement adds that Okoh is one of the operatives investigating some sensitive cases, including that pertaining to corrupt judicial officers, and had been receiving threat messages before the shooting. He is said to be receiving treatment at a private hospital. With few weeks to the completion of a 21-megawatt power plant, the Cross River government is set to commence the construction of another 26-megawatt gas-powered turbine plant at Tinapa in Calabar. Udwagatem reports that the project, funded by Export-Import Bank of India and Cross River State Government, is expected to be completed in 24 months.
Governor Ayade, while receiving the final execution plan by the Indian firm at the Government House in Calabar for the proposed power plant, described the project as dream come true, giving its industrialization drive. He assured the people of the state that 23 megawatt power will be provided from parliamentary extension plants, while Skipper's 26 megawatts will be coming out of Tinapa. Applauding the company's expertise in delivering power globally, said he is sure that the project will be completed on schedule. The governor pledged to partner the company to build transmission line as soon as possible.
Transmission line is very critical. So in addition to your 30 MVA diesel-fired power plant, in addition to your 1x26, we're also now asking and pleading that you should focus also on the 275 kilometers transmission line.
World President Skipper Cell Group, Mr. Yetinda Sacheva, while offering more technical insights of the project, said the project will involve the construction of gas pipelines, a pump station, as well as end-to-end gas distribution networks for domestic use. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
Now, do stay with us here in NTA Nationwide. We have plenty more for you after the break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
You can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
The Future Assured project of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, is carrying out free medical screening and distribution of food items at various IDP camps while ensuring the economic empowerment of women through training and skill acquisition. In recognition of her efforts, wives of governors have lent their voices and support.
In Kogi State, we feel the impact of Future Assured, especially in women and children.
The Future Assured program of Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, the wife of the president, has been very assuring and still reassuring in Sokoto State. It has impacted positively in the areas of humanity, especially women and children.
Supports the Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
This is The Place.
This is where you make that bold move.
This is where it all happens.
This is where dreams are made. Join us every Sunday from 6:30 p.m. on NTA and Star Times. Be part of Nigeria's biggest game show event.
Give and take.
Win big. Live your dreams.
The power to win is within.
You're welcome back. You're watching Nationwide with me, Joseph Johnson. Let's just remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Time to join Beauty in Enugu Network Center for an update on the housing projects for the less privileged. Hello, Beauty. You're on.
Jeff, it is a delight to see you and thanks for joining us in Enugu. Ebonyi State government has earmarked about 3.4 billion naira to boost the agri and industrial sectors to ease unemployment and poverty level of the populace. Governor David Umahi stated this at the groundbreaking ceremony of a housing project for the less privileged in partnership with a non-governmental agency. Chika Okoli will tell us more.
Ceremony, Governor David Umahi said the state government has made available 4 billion naira to assist individuals and groups to venture into investments of their choice. He said the less privileged housing project christened New City in Remote Place is aimed at giving the poor a sense of belonging as well as improving their living standard. The new city, which will occupy about 3,000 hectares of land, is expected to house 5,000 bungalows alongside other state-of-the-art facilities. The project, when completed, will be handed over to the beneficiaries free of charge.
It's going to be for the less privileged, and it's not only going to be for Ebonians only. The allocations will be both Ebonians from all the local government area and then other Nigerians.
The second phase of this laudable project
shall be training and empowerment of occupants of this city in view, with skill acquisition to enable them maintain standard livelihood.
With this groundbreaking ceremony, there are indications that when the housing project is completed, the less privileged persons will also be empowered to contribute to the development of the nation. In Abakaliki, Chika Okore, NTA News.
The Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria Southeast has unveiled its rebranded Coal City 92.9 FM station in Enugu. Nkiru Anyefena reports that the rebranded radio channel emphasizes on all news, talk show, and sports programs.
City FM 92.9 is geared towards maintaining its leading position as the preferred broadcast outfit and choice of radio listeners for news, talk shows, and sports in the Southeast. Features of the new Coal City FM include the introduction of a breakfast talk show, as well as retention and expansion of its classic and most loved programs. So the Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Cecilia Ezilo, who unveiled the rebranded radio channel, applauded the initiative of the station's management to serve its audience better. Chairman on the occasion said the rebranding of the FM station will reposition it to remain relevant and current.
I said that Radio Nigeria Coal City 92.9 FM is adopting new and acceptable methods of broadcasting.
The Zonal Director FRCN Southeast, Mr. Ike Okere, said the Coal City FM has been re-equipped with modern facilities to meet with the 21st century radio broadcasting.
Developing new strategies, upgrading our facilities, all to be ready for today.
There were also goodwill messages from some personalities at the event, urging the staff to uphold its social responsibility of reporting factual news. In Enugu, Nkiru Anyefena, NTA News.
The rail transport sector, when fully repositioned, is capable of contributing meaningfully to the nation's growing economy. Chinyere Okoye reports that though the railway is fast becoming viable in terms of movement of goods and services, a lot needs to be done to realize the full potentials of the sector.
Of the current administration, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, the rail transport has continued to receive support with routine turnaround maintenance to make the sector more viable and reliable. The Eastern District of the Nigerian Railway is one of the functional districts connecting Port Harcourt, Aba, Umuahia, Ovim, Uzuakoli, and Enugu. The district recently launched its Port Harcourt Kano train services every Tuesday and has remained consistent with the movement. This has brought relief to train travelers along these routes.
Actually, the Eastern District in the past used to compete with the Lagos District in terms of army, and everything was died. Since the coming of the new administration, we have new SPS air conditioned coaches brought to the zone. We have the G locomotive brought to the zone.
The district is challenged by many factors, including vandalism of facilities, encroachment on rail tracks, and insufficient number of workers. The future is still promising. The Transport Minister, Rotimi Amici, recently announced plans to further upgrade the Eastern District with 20 new locomotives to enhance the services. Many say this promise, when fulfilled, will greatly improve on the existence of the sector with attendant impact on the nation's economy. In Enugu, Chinyere Okoye, NTA News.
Macroeconomic instability and electorate's applause to ill-gotten wealth have been described as the reasons for poor economic growth of the nation. Ngozi Egbuchulam reports that the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, made the remark at the 5th memorial lecture of late Professor Celestine Onwunleri.
Failed to consider people's pedigree before electing them into public office. He emphasized that applause for ill-gotten wealth is another major factor that contributes to derailment of visionary democratic governance.
If somebody that has been elected in a democracy did not do well, it is for the people to tell him that he's not doing well, and the next election vote him out.
Representative of former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, Anyim Pius Anyim, Dr. Pascal Dozie, and others noted that late Professor Celestine Onwunleri stood for human development, capacity building, and good governance.
a quintessential professor of zoology, an astute academic, and an outstanding educationist. A profound and outstanding gentleman of Christian urbanity.
Former Governor of Imo State, Dr. Ihedo Hakim, the wife of late Professor Onwolere, and former Minister of State for Education, Professor Bala Onwolere, advised employers of labor to do proper scrutiny of applicants before employing them.
He was passionate about the Nigerian project, and he always wanted people to grow.
Late Professor Onwolere, who was a former Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, were among the Nigerians who lost their lives in the ill-fated Dana airline in 2012. In Owerri, Ngozi Buchulam, NTA News.
And that is about all from us here. It's back to you, Joseph, in Abuja.
Many thanks, Beauty. The report just reaching us says the Federal Executive Council has approved the Science, Technology and Innovation Roadmap 2017 to 2030 for the country. The 13-year blueprint is aimed at ensuring that Nigeria fully explores its natural resource endowment towards achieving self-reliance and a greater nation. We'll be keeping across that for you. In the meantime, wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has enjoined Nigerian youths to continue upholding the spirit of brotherhood, patriotism and tolerance for positive change and development. Mrs. Buhari stated this in a message at a dinner organized for the Nigerian young couples as part of activities to celebrate Eid al-Fitr. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
Drawn from across the country, the youth are hosted by the wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, as part of the activities to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, considering the fact that they constitute the large segment of the society and the leaders of tomorrow. The central message at the dinner was the need for the Nigerian youth to continue to be a vanguard of promoting peaceful coexistence, unity and development. The wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the wife of the acting President, Dolapo Shinbajo, emphasized on the need for the Nigerian youth to consider themselves as major stakeholders in turning around the fortunes of this country, adding that this requires extra effort of hard work and dedication.
I pray for you that this unity will be handed over to you and it will be kept. I pray for you that you will have peace in your time. I pray for you, you will always be people of faith. And above all, I pray progress for you.
The future of this country is actually in your hands. So we believe, as you are coming up, not only as husbands and wives, in a very humble way, in a very humble setting, and in a very modest way, we believe your contribution will make Nigeria a better nation.
The need for acquiring education, self-determination and national interest are some of the issues raised by the stakeholders.
I want to appeal that Nigerian youth should agitate for the unity of this country. They should ask for justice.
The government decided that we'll create a special intervention scheme, and that's how we came with the National Social Investment Program.
Education gives you only thing that gives you self-confidence.
Keep a seat in your heart for everyone. If we as Nigerians, particularly youths, imbibe that saying, the tension that has suffused our country for some time will not be there.
They assured the youth that government is committed in providing the enabling environment for the desired development in making Nigeria a better place. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Governor Kashim Shettima directs release of 50 million naira for digging trenches around UNIMAID. These and more stories as we link up with Mohammed in Maiduguri. Mohammed, how is Maiduguri today?
Following frequent attempts by suicide bombers to infiltrate the University of Maiduguri, Borno State government has approved the release of 50 million naira for digging trenches around the institution and payment of special guards. Governor Kashim Shettima disclosed this when he visited the institution to assess the various locations of the multiple suicide attacks. Mohamed Goni reports.
Governor Shettima 2 weeks ago mobilized caterpillars to start the digging as a way of responding to previous attacks. And after assessing the scenes of the suicide attacks of last Sunday night, he announced that he was releasing 50 million naira, not only to fund the digging exercise, but also to support payment of allowances of special guards drawn from local vigilante who are to work with the military in policing the forest areas.
We have a moral obligation to intervene to see that this great citadel of learning did not close shop. Even in the height of the Boko Haram, university was open for business. This institution, in terms of land mass, is one of the biggest in the country. Even in terms of student population, it's among the top 10 universities in Nigeria.
The trenches are being designed to make it impossible for the insurgents to drive into the university and also create difficulty for them to cross on foot, while the military will take advantage of being at the top to neutralize them. Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Aliu Shugaba, who conducted Governor Kashim Shettima around the scenes, was elated by the governor's intervention, revealing that the university has since put up a request of 2.8 billion naira to enable fund the erection of perimeter fence around the exposed portion of the school. The governor later went into the Vice Chancellor's office and presided over a security meeting that was attended by the Garrison Commander 7th Division of the Nigerian Army, the Commissioner of Police, and those in charge of internal security at the university. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
500 pupils and students in Dalori and Bama internally displaced persons camps will benefit from the new feeding program of the Nigerian Air Force, in line with the directive of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar. Chief of Medical Services of the headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Saleh Shinkafi, stated this while flagging of the program in Dalori IDP Camp Maiduguri. Abubakar Mohamed Musa has the report.
The feeding program of the Nigerian Air Force is designed to ensure sound health status amongst pupils and students in Dalori and Bama IDP camps, having been subjected to malnutrition and hunger due to insurgency. Chief of Medical Services of Headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Saleh Shinkafi, says the program will augment the effort of the Air Force, particularly in its determination towards giving IDP children a new lease of life.
It's not to substitute what they are being given, food from the camp, but it's to complement what is being given to them so that they will have enough nutrition.
While commending the Chief of Air Staff for his foresight, Commander 105 Composite Group and Air Component Commander Operation Lafia Doli, Air Commodore Tajuddin Oladele Yusuf, assured to follow the feeding program to its logical conclusion.
What we're trying to do is to show love and care to this unit, to these children here. You know that in the recent past, Boko Haram have been using children for suicide bombing, so we need to do more to show them care and love, for them to know that the Nigerian state loves them.
The Nigerian Air Force says its activities are not limited to protecting lives and property, as well as rendering medical services alone, but it is also interested in providing one of the basic necessities of life to deserving persons.
Head teacher Dalori IDP camp described the gesture as unprecedented and applauded the Nigerian Air Force for incorporating the younger generation in its humanitarian initiative. 500 persons in Dalori and Bama camps are expected to be served meals on daily basis for a period of 6 to 8 months. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
That's the size of our contribution from Maiduguri. Back to Joseph in Abuja.
Mohammed, thank you very much indeed. In support of the federal government's effort towards alleviating the plight of internally displaced persons, the Naval Officers' Wives Association NOAA South Zone has provided relief materials to Uhogwa IDP camp in Edo State.
Assuring the IDPs that their situation was a temporary one, as the government is working tirelessly to ensure their return home. The NOAA members, led by its zonal coordinator, Mrs. Obimma Ibenwo, presented food items and medical supplies to them.
Whatever God had for you in your destiny, you will fulfill it.
The camp coordinator, Pastor Solomon Foloronjo, and others are grateful at the gesture.
We appreciate you sincerely from our heart. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the noble work you are doing for Nigeria, especially for the IDPs.
Thank them for their coming, that to remind us that they are still with us, that we are not alone.
I want to say thank you for how they are helping us by providing us some foodstuffs in order for us to have a life.
The visit to the IDP camp is part of activities to send forth its national coordinator, wife of the former flag officer commanding Logistics Command Ogara, Rear Admiral Ibenwo Begroy, who has been posted to the Naval headquarters, Abuja.
And now let's take you to Akwa Ibom State, where stakeholders there have called for continuous prayers from Nigerians for the quick recovery and safe return of President Muhammadu Buhari to the country. This was at a one-day prayer summit organized by APC youths in Akwa Ibom State. Susan Asuko has that report.
Participants at the prayer summit dedicated the program to praying for President Muhammadu Buhari and his quick return to the country. In an exhortation, Pastor Keme Etugudo maintained that for the country to experience a supernatural turnaround, every Nigerian must pray. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal Matters, Documentation and Research, Professor Adamu Usman, appreciated Nigerians for their prayers for Mr. President and urged Akwa Ibom people not to relent in their support for the government.
What I have seen on ground here is surprising, but surprising in a very pleasant manner.
Convener of the prayer summit, Professor Chris Ekong, said prayers for the quick recovery of the president and his safe return to Nigeria is necessary, considering his commitment to development of the country and achievements within 2 years of his assumption of office. He noted that the recently awarded Kalabaitu Road and quick release of funds for commencement of work is enough for youths in Akwa Ibom State to pray for his recovery.
I have decided to rise in unison to pray, seeking God's mercy and total healing for his servant, President Muhammadu Buhari.
The state chairman of the APC, Dr. Ahmadu Atai, and other participants commended the youths for their show of love to the president. The event also featured prayers for the peace and unity of Nigeria. In Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
Now let's get to some of the other stories making news around the world with Omino Deng.
We begin this segment from Africa. Over 50 African migrants are feared dead in the Sahara Desert, not Niger, abandoned by their drivers. 8 workers and local officials have reported. A convoy of 3 pickup trucks transporting over 70 migrants north through the Sahara Desert towards Libya, a typical route for West Africans seeking to reach Europe when the drivers abandoned them. 23 of the migrants survived after walking to a nearby town for help. The International Organization for Migration said the survivors, it is reported, are from Nigeria, Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Senegal. Davor Dung is of the Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking. Davor, what could be the solution to this for Africa?
Good governance is the key thing. I've asked myself why these people want to travel to Europe. They see the good infrastructures there. Most of them think that dollar flow along the streets there. They want a better life for themselves, that which they cannot have here in their own country. If only our leaders in Africa can work on good governance and then address the issue of corruption.
Away from Africa, Venezuela's Supreme Court has been attacked by grenades dropped from a helicopter in what the authorities there described as a terrorist attack. In an address from the presidential palace, President Maduro said the helicopter had flown over the Supreme Court, the Justice and Interior Ministries. Security researchers have discovered a vaccine for the huge cyber attack that hit organizations across the world recently. Among the victims of the attack include Ukrainian Central Bank, Russian oil giant, British advertising firm, and the United States of America law firm. The solution is by creating a read-only file and placing it within a computer Windows folder. The attack will be stopped in his tracks. That's the wrap on this segment of the news. The rest of the bulletin continues.
Ominio Deng there for us on foreign news. Now let's talk sports. Criticism has continued to trail the use of video assistant referee at the ongoing FIFA Confederations Cup in Russia. Although FIFA President Gianni Infantino has described the technology as the future of modern football, the video referral system has however come under scrutiny in the wake of a handful of decisions at the tournament over the last few days. Oche Ngbede in this report takes a look at the uprising that comes with the introduction. Thank you very much indeed for being a company. Bye-bye.